Miss Vitale, you want to read this for us?
Sometimes you have to remind yourself, I can't do everything, but I can do more than I think. And sometimes you have to remind yourself, I can do more than I think, but I can't do everything. It's up to you to figure out which one of those times this is.
And this is a perfect thing for first-year law students who I know are overwhelmed, that you won't be able to do everything. And it's something that will follow you throughout your career. And it's something that often gets put under the label of balance. So Ms. Vitale, in my undergraduate course, we do this really cool thing at the end of the term, which is we put together a magazine and we send it off to a celebrity panel. So I don't grade their final product. They actually have to send it out to the real world to see if they can get somebody who's really busy to read their stuff. And so I asked doctors, I asked investment bankers, I asked parents of 2-year-olds, so really busy people, particularly the parents of 2-year-olds. And only 2 people have ever said no to me. Both of them, lawyers. One worked for a big firm, one worked for public interest. Both were so overwhelmed, they didn't have the time to read these student essays. And so one of the neat things about the Force of Focus, it kind of gives us a way to think about this experience. And it comes from a book by a teacher in the Harvard Negotiation Project, William Ury. And he's got this book out called The Power of a Positive No, which is a little gimmicky, but a useful concept in this way, Ms. Vitale. He says to think of
Every no is a yes someplace else.
Yeah, and so he talks about how people ask him to do stuff all the time, and it's really tough for him to say no. But when he says no to a new article or a new book, he's saying yes to hanging out with his kids. Or if he says no to teaching another class, he's saying yes to potentially write a book. And that's a really useful thing to keep in mind as you go through your academic career here, and something I try and instill with my undergraduates. So another assignment I do with them is I say, look, there's a writing assignment every week. At one point during the semester, you have to tell me what you're not doing. You have to pick one of those assignments and tell me not only that you're not doing it, but why. What are you, by saying no to my assignment, saying yes to? So Ms. Vitale, I get to read these really great emails. You want to start reading for me?
Mr. Barry, I guess maybe saying no isn't so hard when some things just might not be possible. I have been in the process of writing our next paper and am now realizing that I won't have the time I need to produce something worth reading. Aw. So instead of writing the paper for the rest of the afternoon, I'm going to study for my calc exam.
Which gives you sort of idea of the high-achieving Michigan students. They're saying no to a writing assignments and studying. But then we get to something a little more sweet.
Which is on Monday. Also, I can now call my mom back and talk to her, something I haven't seemed to be able to do for the past week. And to be honest, I am also going to use the time to do absolutely nothing for a little while. Just sit back, veg, and maybe watch the Michigan game. Have a nice weekend.
So I bring this up because what David Croce said at the beginning is that one of the best investments you can make in law school is in your writing. But we know that investment isn't costly. I know by coming to this event, you are saying no to other things. But we stress it, particularly with David Croce, who's the head of the clinics, because when you write for a clinic, you're not writing a law school exam. You're not writing a law review article. You're not engaging in a purely academic or merely academic exercise. You're actually writing somebody's life. You are putting down on paper what it feels like to be this aggrieved person. And that's an amazing, amazing responsibility. It's also, though, an amazing opportunity because if you write somebody's life well, you may actually be able to write it. So that's what we're going to be working on in the remainder of this workshop. We're going to be talking a little bit about George Orwell. We're going to be talking a little bit about weird clocks that strike 13. And after a 5-minute break, we're going to talk about the next concept, which is the power of the particular.